needed tweaking. What an amazing document.
Well, because we had Natick to thank. I had to do
And
it.
the fact that you can do the software.
Yeah.
What is it called again?
I think we were thinking it's gonna be Adobe InDesign, but I actually ended up just editing it in Adobe.
Okay.
Oh, it's in Adobe?
It just was
Okay.
Yeah.
probably a little bit more cumbersome, but it actually worked fine.
All right. Once you get a chance to get settled, we can get started. We have a full-ish house. And in person, we can do, not that we do a lot of voting around here, but we can do it by show of hands and not roll call.
No, that's a first.
Yes, right. You're like, when's the last time I got to do that? FinCom is sometimes all that in person. I have got to do. And actually, we always, when we do the budget every year and we have to vote on every line of the budget, if anyone's on Zoom, they hang out. So that we can do
During the voting.
and before the vote, right before the voting, so that we can do everything by show of hands, because otherwise it's going to be whatever, 35 roll calls or something. Yeah. All right. So let's get started now that it is after 7:30 and we're all here. So let's call this meeting of the Ad Hoc Community Preservation Act Study Committee to order. We are actually all in person as far as, well, literally everyone goes. Maybe someone will join on Zoom later. We'll see. So let's see, agenda. Where is my agenda? There we go. I'm assuming we can skip public comment due to the lack of public. We'll talk more about our efforts to reach out to the public, and in particular this town meeting later. Does anyone have reports from their respective committees? We used to do that a lot more, but I think oh yes, actually, I want to hear about rec.
Yeah, not a full-blown report, unfortunately. So sadly, I don't think we're gonna be on the rec agenda until the January meeting. Their December meeting is a week from tonight, and it is a joint meeting with Council on Aging. With the sole agenda item is to discuss issues for recal. Programming, that sort of stuff. So, and the reason we got bumped is because they canceled the November meeting. So talked with Jim, I told him the importance of this, but it's not appropriate for us next week.
No, I don't want to get in the middle of that.
Yeah, so it's a January
Choosing my
event.
words.
What part of January?
It's it's typically the third Monday. So it's probably gonna be after you. Are we thinking present this to the select board in January?
Third Monday would be the holiday,
Okay,
very likely.
then they'll move it forward or backwards.
Yeah.
I can get a specific, I'll reach out to Jim tomorrow and get a specific date on that.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's not, I don't know. I mean,
It's not ideal, I mean, considering
No.
recreation is one of the, it's a pretty major pillar.
yeah, I mean, I would, I mean, on the bright side, I'm not especially worried about sort of getting them on side. Like, would you like some money for some fields? That being said, it would be nice if we got the opportunity to have that conversation before presenting this report.
But it'll still be before the town meeting vote.
Oh, well before the time meeting vote, and possibly before the select board. I don't know. I'll get back to that on the subject of outreach to committees and organizations.
We have had special meetings as well, so if
Yeah.
you want, I can push for that.
Yeah, I don't think it's, I'm assuming that we can get on the, agenda in January and don't get bumped for something else. Probably fine.
I agree.
Okay,
Again, it's not like the select board is going to change their mind about whether to send us to town meeting based on whether or not the recreation committee supports having more fields.
right.
That would be, I am not worried about that particular chain of events. I'm looking forward to that when it eventually does happen, the rec meeting. All right, anything else? I guess we did present to FinCom since last time we met, but I'll
We did?
Didn't we? Yes.
Mhm.
It was right after our last meeting.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sandy presented.
So.
Oh, how'd it go?
Both of you, well, I was gonna talk about that when we talked about
Oh,
our
okay.
outreach to committees and organizations. We got to the agenda. Before that, we have example of CPA project. I am not on top of this, but Sarah texted me 2 examples right before the meeting, which I thought were both interesting and
Yeah.
relevant.
Well,
I can open them.
okay. One, hold on, where'd it go? It's in my email.
Text my phone as well. Wait, am I not to the internet? Non-town guest should work.
Well, it's not, one is for a community that, oh, actually, I can probably pull it up. Here we go. In Hingham, they built veterans housing, which is the first time I saw one that was just for veterans. They used 250,000 of CPA money to construct 6 units of affordable supportive housing for veterans. So that was a very interesting one. And the other one before that was a dog park. And talking about how so many, 1 out of 3 households in that town, I forget which one it was, have a dog, which is probably similar
Reading's
to
probably in that
Reading.
ballpark.
And I have 2 grand dogs. And anyway, they made a dog park and it's a big success. So
Hello,
there's
everyone.
no-
Oh, hey, Carlo,
Oh, hi,
welcome.
Carlo.
Oh, I was even on the
Carl,
Zoom, but wasn't
Did you
looking
hear
up.
what I was saying, Carlo? For
All I heard
example?
was dog. All I heard was dog.
Okay, every week, every month, every meeting, we try to showcase a CPA project. And the first one was in Hingham, where they created a 6-unit housing building for veterans, just veterans.
Very
And
good.
Another one is a dog park, because they're saying that 1 in 3 households have a dog. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is for Reading, but so,
Probably close.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'll say we've certainly heard requests about that before.
yeah.
Yes.
Right, sure. So,
Yep, we want to appeal to the masses, so let's put dog park in.
yeah, no, that's part of the thing about the CPA is it gives them,
Something for everyone.
there's something for everyone.
Also, just as a side to Margaret, in Chelsea, they use CPA funds to defray rent for low-income people.
Yeah, rent subsidy here.
I didn't realize you could do that. They put
Yeah.
it into the housing trust and they rent subsidies. Okay.
It's very expensive. I mean, it's very expensive in it, but it can be,
It was during COVID.
yeah, it can
Yeah.
be very helpful. I
Like
mean,
when-
in Somerville now, in the city of, both the city of Somerville and the city of Cambridge are using some of their own tax revenue now to fund their own rental subsidy program.
Because there's such a need.
There's such an overwhelming need, but it is, it can be $30,000 per household a year, if not even more.
Oh.
So the math adds up really, really quickly.
I actually followed CPC on Facebook as Sarah recommended and popped up on my Facebook feed a thing from the town of Amherst that used CPA funding to upgrade their North Common. So they had a common like us, but one piece of it wasn't in very good shape. So they planted some trees and put in some benches and made a lovely open space in the center of Amherst.
If we ever wanted, there's always been talk about a gazebo in
Oh.
somewhere.
Okay.
I mean, there's endless.
Memorial Park or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, or even
True.
by Santa.
All right, cool. All right, let's keep moving along, because I know we have a report to talk about. That might take a while. So outreach to committees and organizations. Oh, I didn't open my spreadsheet with the list of those. But FinCom was definitely one of them. I'm trying to see who else we met with. There was the Reading
Open
Open
Land Trust.
Reading Open Land Trust.
Yeah.
And there was, of course, our table at town meeting. So.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, that was a lot.
Yeah.
Joe, did anyone from my board reach out to you?
Yes. Oh, by the way, this mic is not on. Can you hear, I bet you can hear me better if I do that.
No, the same. I can hear you.
Oh, interesting. Oh, weird. Okay.
But turn on Sandy's mic. Sandy's the one we can never hear.
All right. That might also be where he is in the room. Anyway, yes, two board members reached out to me. Neither one had any, one was generally supportive, one was generally unsupportive. Neither actually had anything to add to the report in terms of like, please give more information about X, Y, or Z, which is what I've been hoping for.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think that could be part of the reason that they're entrusting us. And they've probably heard about the presentations to historic, conservation, and other boards and committees. So I'm speaking for myself right now. And if I wasn't on this committee and that was asked to me, I guess it'd be, what percentage have you landed on? And that'd be the main question, I guess. Like I think for me, before this was, okay, 1%, 2%, 3%, the exemption, not the exemption. I think, how much is the average tax bill going up? Those are the things that we're presenting and we've kind of talked about at our at my meetings, God, well over a year ago before we started. How's this going to impact the average taxpayer? So that's kind of like just like the two big projects, right? So I think that's the information we're going to present, and I think that's the information that they need, the other four, to absorb everything and kind of either push back or agree with us or whatever you want. Don't forget, I'm the one that I don't want to say needs to be convinced, but I'm the one that's like knee-jerk reaction in the very beginning, like I said many times, was no, no more taxes. We have enough taxes. But there's so many benefits to this. It's like when you guys said the dog park, that's going to have mass appeal. Um, Nothing against housing. I'm just picking on this because it was mentioned tonight. That's more finite, more limited, even though it's probably a better cause, right? But it's like, what's going to get the people most excited? A gazebo, I would say no, that's probably, they would think that was wasteful. Again, I'm not picking on anybody, just what I heard in the room tonight. So I wouldn't go for gazebo, but I know you guys were giving examples. But it's, if this passes out of the gate, we should fund something that's as much of us as we can enjoy, I guess.
Carlo, could I ask you, is there a fan going on your ceiling? Because it's very,
Oh, yeah, I'll shut it off. It is, I'll shut it off.
thank you.
no, I appreciate those comments. All right, so in terms of other outreach that we've done, I mentioned Finance Committee, Kate and Sandy both came to that. I thought it was a good discussion. Not sure what there is to highlight. We certainly talked about the fact that, the money that Reading has already spent on projects that would have been CPA eligible. Someone did point out that we don't spend a dime on affordable housing, so that would be something that we would be spending that we wouldn't have spent otherwise. But again, I'm okay with that. So, and many people are too, because they do recognize that unaffordable housing is a problem. So, but yes, do what you did before, but do it for less money is, that's unsurprisingly lands relatively well with the Finance Committee.
Okay.
I don't know if there's other observations you two had from where you were sitting. Nobody came at you hard, thankfully.
No, it didn't. No, I think the main message did get through. It was, understood immediately and it was echoed generally, not strongly, but generally. And the one sort of, there would be a new expenditure that we historically don't make wasn't strongly made, but the point was made. And yeah, I'm not sure what to do with it.
And we do have some affordable housing in town, so sometime in the past, we spent money on affordable housing. Or did it,
Not the city, not the town.
oh, it came out of other sources.
Yeah.
Got it.
And nowadays.
There was, I mean, I should say not, I mean, most of it came from other sources. There was some work about 25 years ago where the housing authority ended up as owners of 4 condominiums, that schoolhouse condominium, and a couple of other buildings that I think were kind of negotiated as developers were doing special things. So the housing authority, I think, has about 17 units that were acquired in that period that provide affordable housing that may have come through kind of city, but property like Tannerville or the properties, family housing over by the housing, by the high school were all funded really by either federal or state funding, and this, in the town has only, contributed by, accepting payment in lieu of taxes.
All right, so let's see, what were the other committees that we talked to?
Open land trust.
Yes, Open Land Trust.
That was a good meeting.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm trying to remember what they had the questions about if we buy land
Yes.
jointly, who owns it? Which I thought was a good
Yeah.
question that I hadn't thought about. We certainly heard about, like, for instance, I think last month I mentioned Lowell's first CPA project, which was a collaboration of the Lowell's Community Preservation Committee, but also some kind of open land trust organization there. Also some sort of like urban farming organization there, because I guess they did have like some community garden thing there too. And one thing that none of the articles that I read about it answered was who actually holds the deed to this big old chunk of land. Presumably it's been, conservation restricted in perpetuity and so on and so forth, but interesting, I learned that Reading Open Land Trust lands are not generally under conservation restrictions.
Right, they don't have to be, though
No.
Chuck urges them
Yes, right.
to do it.
Bob, president of the Reading Open Land Trust, said that Chuck, the Reading Conservation Administrator, badgers him about it all the time. I might be with Chuck on that one, because I do like the idea of those open lands staying that way. But that's sort of the point. But yes, that was something where, it would probably, it would have to be worked out on a case-by-case basis was the answer that we sort of collectively came up with, because, who put in more money and whatnot, and, is it something where, I mean, if the Reading Open Land Trust put up only a small fraction of the money, they would probably be fine with not, holding the title to the land and having the town own it along with a conservation restriction. Conversely, the town could contribute to something that they mostly spent money on. And then they would own it, and I think the taxpayers would be fine with that. Though obviously that would be up to the select board at the time and so forth, so.
One possibility is the land trust, were they to put up most of the money, could own it, and the town could be the recipient of the conservation restriction.
Yeah.
Which in turn would be statutory and would be eligible for a tax deduction. Roll tends not to do that, or they haven't historically, but the town would make a good grantee of the restriction. So you could have one holding the title, the other one holding the restriction, the landowner getting the deduction for the charitable contribution, and the state would be very happy with that arrangement.
Sure.
When they review and approve the restriction.
All right. There been any other, well, so there was, I guess the other, before we talk about town meeting, was there any other outreach that I'm forgetting besides town meeting?
I'll just mention that Andrew came back, and I think you
Oh,
were
yeah.
on the emails, and asked what type of vote by the Affordable Housing Trust Board and CPDC
Mhm.
might he put up in front of those committees. And my response to that, as I recall, was that would they support a proposal to the select board for it to pass through for the matter to town meeting?
Would they recommend this to the select board?
Essentially looking for support on the process, stepping it out, as opposed to necessarily on the merits up or down.
Yeah, that's what we're supposed to do anyway, right? Wasn't that our mission?
I think so. I
To
think it
advise
was
them?
not so clear at
it's
the
a nuance.
Conservation Commission
Okay.
meeting.
Okay,
And I was hoping for Conservation Commission to vote to support it. And that, I think, is part of why we had such a dismal response from the Conservation Commission, is they didn't feel like they could back this. But if they had been simply asked, do you support sending it to the select board and then town meeting, that might have been a different story.
mhm.
Yeah, well,
So I think
Maybe it's worth a reload.
Yeah,
could be. Yeah,
up to you all.
yeah, but so that's why I think Sandy's suggestion,
Mhm.
right now, we're not asking the committees to vote, yes, we should have this extra tax. Just, yes, the school select board should have the opportunity. Right?
well,
Yeah.
that the select board should bring it to town meeting.
Yeah.
So. All right, so speaking of town meeting, we had a table out for, oh golly, 3 of the 4 nights. This town meeting turned into a bit of a slog, but we did get through it. Yeah, were they good? I was, because I, sit down in front, I want to be there early, so I never worked at the table, I'm afraid. For those of you who were at the table, I'm curious how it went.
Really well, I thought.
Yeah.
There was a lot of interaction. It was short, but people were paying attention, and it was nice to try and make the message as pithy and catchy as you possibly could. So
And we managed to hand out all the flyers. So people who didn't have time to stand and chat with us were willing to take a flyer and read it while they were waiting for town meeting to start, I hope. They at least took a flyer. And I was there the 3rd night, I think by myself. And
But I was on the third
maybe
night.
you were there with me on the 3rd night. You were there
No, I was by
definitely on the
myself.
2nd night.
I was by myself. Yeah, oh, okay, yeah, I was the second night and you were the third night.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And a lot of people came in on the 3rd night, either said, yes, I've heard about it, I'm in support of it, or no, tell me about it. So, I was glad we did the 3rd night because I got
You actually got
enough
some
people
new
who had not
contacts.
been caught on the first 2.
I would say I had the same. Because I was watching you guys on the first night, you guys were just so like, talkative and, reaching out to people in such a positive, friendly way. I'm like, okay, yeah, everybody that, I would say it was about half the people who came up to me wanted the flyer and had heard about it and were wondering why we didn't have it or whatever. And the other half, like you said, didn't really know what it was. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think my biggest spiel that I made was, we're planning to go to the select board in January and February, and we hope that this will come to town meeting in April, so we want you to get a preview so that you're not surprised at the April town meeting.
Mhm.
So it was good. I'm glad we did it.
Mhm.
So looking ahead to future outreach, I think the only outreach that I'm aware of that is still pending, so we talked a little bit about rec earlier, just recapping for Carlo, because I think you joined after Kate talked about this. The December rec meeting is going to be the Council on Aging Rec Committee joint meeting to discuss recal programming. That is not, that's a full meeting by itself, I think. So we're gonna steer clear of that and go to rec in January. It'd be nice to talk to them sooner, of course, but it's also not likely to, I don't think it's going to change anything that happens in terms of how Reading does or does not approach the CPA. So, and then Board of Library Trustees actually reached out to me. I think I might have, did I CC Star on that? Oh, I didn't CC anybody on the replies. All right. Oh no, that's not, oh, Kate was in the
You did,
original.
yeah.
Yes, you made the introduction, Kelly Bacon.
I cornered her in a coffee shop.
Yes.
So, yes, so She, reached out, confirmed that they would have a meeting at 7 PM on Monday, December 8th. And they would be happy to see a presentation. They were very insistent that the presentation should be limited strictly to 15 minutes. You may have noticed there was an abridged version of our slides that I put into the packet. I'm going to put that out there as a possible short version. Mostly I cut talking about projects, which you could argue is ill-advised because the projects are the point, but at the same time, the projects are also the topic about which all of us are most excited and most prone to elaborate.
I'm available that night if you need somebody. And is it in person or?
Yes, at the
Yes.
library. So, yeah, I think I could probably do it as well. If there's anyone else who really wants to go to a Board of Library Trustees meeting, you certainly can, though. I don't have to be there.
I have recreation that night.
I don't have anything except for watching a grand dog, so I can join you if you want.
I don't care.
Unless you really want to go, Joe.
Let me look at my calendar before I say
I think your
anything.
calendar is pretty full.
My calendar is bananas, I
I was gonna
know.
say, you should say, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll go.
okay, fine. I'm gonna do the right thing and say thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so me and Sarah,
Yes,
and,
At the library?
yes.
what time?
It is at 7 o'clock. Let me find the, now where'd the email go? Yes, so doesn't say where we are on the agenda, just that it's 7 PM, Monday, December 8th. I can reply to Kelly and copy the two of you
Oh, great, yeah.
to make the connection.
Mhm.
Nothing personal, but if I leave you off, we don't have quorum on the email. So,
Okay.
and yeah, you can, if you have any questions about the actual meeting, Kelly will know the answers and I won't, so. I think I did suggest actually including our full presentation in their packet. Even though I also prepared that abridged presentation. I don't know if the full presentation will make it into their packet, but that was what I asked for.
Are you talking about the one that was in the front of this one?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if Margaret had done that or you had.
that was me.
Okay.
I got out my scissors and started snipping. So. All right.
And they want presentation and question and answer to be limited to 15 minutes. So I
That
think
was the
the
vibe, yeah.
presentation itself can easily be limited to 15 minutes. It's when they start asking us questions that things tend to drag out a little bit.
Yeah.
So, okay,
I mean, I can read you verbatim. The only change we would request is to limit the presentation strictly to 15 minutes. I had one board member approach me to say they had already seen your committee present and it was lengthy.
It was lengthy? I didn't think we were lengthy.
Well, I don't know I don't think I was at the presentation that,
CPDC went lengthy because they kept picking on you guys.
Oh, well,
Well,
maybe.
this would probably be Pat from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board of Trustees, because he is on Board of Library Trustees, but, so anyway. All right, but yes, I'm told we have a lot on our agenda that evening in December, so if you can keep it short, that much appreciated. You do not need to stay beyond your presentation time. Please understand you are likely not interested in all of the bold business. I have to admit, I think it would be cool to attend a bold meeting, but I should, again, say thank you and go hang out with my kids. So, all right, excellent. Let's see, is there anything else with regards to outreach that we need to figure out? There's an infinite number of people we could reach out to, but is there anything else planned or shall we move on to the? All right, so I actually put on the agenda actually trying to, make up our darn minds on any of the things we want to recommend. We've been sort of tiptoeing around the surcharge amount and exemptions. At some point, we have to actually stop and vote on it. We don't have to vote on it now. We could vote on it at our next meeting in 2 weeks, for instance. Well, I don't know if we'll have all 7 of us. I think it's actually kind of exciting that all 7 of us are here.
I move that we make the surcharge amount 1%.
I second it.
All right, then, I think that's in order, as it were, and we can have a discussion about the surcharge amount and vote on that motion.
Did we lose Carla?
No, Carlos, camera's off, so it doesn't show.
Ah,
Oh,
okay.
It doesn't.
He can
Zoom-
still vote.
I'm here.
Yep,
All
Zoom
right.
Zoom just takes
I guess we should.
takes you off the
just-
screen when your camera's off, that's all. So we just see two copies of ourselves.
Ah,
Because we also see ourselves in person, but that's all right.
Oh,
It's all good.
There he is.
Yeah.
all right.
So, yeah, comments or questions or anything from anyone about the idea of recommending a 1% surcharge?
I would love to make it higher, but I think we don't want to ask for too much and not get any.
Mhm. I'm in the same camp, not that we've even discussed this, because originally I was like 1.5%. I think conversations with people, the fact that the 1% would put us like something like $95 or $96 per household per year.
Yep.
I think that's digestible, especially when you look at it's going to be matched with something. And it's going to be leveraging opening all kinds of doors to get other matching funds from the state, hopefully, or federal. I think there's just so many that $95 will leverage so much to us that I think that's my feeling.
I'm almost sad to, like, at some point I do plan to reach out to Victor, the assessor, in January, about, because I reached out to him last year about property values, so I could make the numbers that we currently have. And when I reached out to him fall of 23, he said, or fall of 24, he said, I don't have them until January, so I reached out to him this January and I got the numbers, which we've all seen. And I'm afraid that when I reach out to him in January of 26 and plug updated numbers in the spreadsheet, it'll be like $100.02 or something, you know, and that'll be annoying.
Well, we can use 2025 numbers
Yeah, I mean,
for where we are now.
right. I will, I'm too intellectually honest to not ask him for the updated stuff, but,
But even if it's over $100 a year,
I
it will
know,
be
right.
over by a small amount. It will still be in the right
right,
ballpark.
everyone's going to say it's 100,
Mhm.
whether it's $99.47 or $100.04. So,
So how do you feel about the 1%?
so I think it's good. I think it makes all of the math very simple.
Yeah.
Because it ends up being about $1 million a year once you can include the state match for a very modest estimate of the state match,
Mhm.
not trying to like,
Right.
you know, oversell that. Yeah, the $100 threshold is what the Community Preservation Coalition referred to in their recommendations.
Mhm.
And it's about what we've been spending anyway on
That's
these
the
kinds
other
of projects.
thing,
Right.
$10 million
Unmatched.
in 10 years
Yeah.
on these kind of projects is, so yes, I'm,
And that's the number we've used as, for instance, when we've given presentations,
Mhm.
talking to people, all the numbers you've put together.
I think you did 1.52, right, in the
I
presentation?
did
No,
0,
0.5.
1.5,
Oh.
or I did 0, 1, and 1.5.
Oh, okay, all right.
No,
I knew
not
there-
zero.
there
No,
was
sorry,
three.
sorry, thank you, 0.5.
Zero,
Zero
yeah.
is, zero, yes, 0 is a very boring presentation. We collect no tax and we spend no money.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Tumbleweeds.
0.5, thank you. It's been a long day. All right, 0.5, 1, and 1.5 were the numbers that I have shared before. As we discussed before, there wasn't much point in talking about anything more.
Mhm.
Remarkably, Winchester did pass 1.5% in 2024, but Winchester is already a community that, you know, seems to be, you know, okay with a higher tax burden than Reading's. So it's a different set of voters. I
Although
don't
it's
think the same thing
interesting
would
it took
pass.
them this long to pass it.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
is like a whole pocket of around us that
Yeah.
never have passed
Right?
it.
It is
And it's just
interesting.
very weird that, you know, other communities have
Yep.
Right.
passed it, but then there's this pocket.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yes, no, our Winchester was our 11th of the 21 official peer communities
Mm.
to adopt CPA, and but yeah, interestingly, that you're right, they are geographically not the ones next to us. That adopted that.
So I have a question. Do we want to have this discussion rounded out to include exemptions? Or do you want to separate the exemptions from the surcharge rate?
I think we can probably, I don't think it needs to be all one motion, put it that way.
Yeah, I was
about
assuming my
all the
motion was
discussions?
just
Yeah.
the surcharge
Yeah,
rate,
okay.
then we move on to the exemptions.
You gonna make that motion too?
I will make another motion about the
Sandy
exemptions,
can.
sure.
Let's,
Or you
let's
can, I
vote
don't
on
care.
the
Yeah, I was
first
gonna
one.
say,
let's just-
we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
Let's
All right.
just settle the
Is there any,
surcharge.
okay, so I have not heard anything except, support for the 1% motion. Are there any other?
I think 1% sings, I always have, so.
Okay,
What about you, Carlo?
Yeah, I'm okay with the 1%. My only, I guess, that's the right word I'm looking for. Concern is the timing of this, like I've mentioned before.
Mhm.
The override question is getting more and more heated. We have the two projects, so that's the only thing that concerns me. I'm fine with the 1%. I think we're doing the right thing by that, but I'm really, as a select board member who gets to vote on this, I'm really concerned about the timing of this, and I know it was chosen specifically for the election and for turnout. I don't disagree with that part, but unfortunately, 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, when we started talking about this, and then later on, after the guy from the CPA committee came, it's like, oh, you want to do it when a big turnout is, this and that. I'm like, I wasn't thrilled with 2026 from the beginning, but I understand the mechanics of it. But I really struggle with asking our taxpayers and residents to, in the end, it's a tax. I know it's a benefit, but in the end, it's a tax, and it doesn't benefit everybody. It does benefit everybody when we spend on average $1 million a year. That part I agree with, but it's the wording and it's the psychology of it. What is it? Oh, it's for this, and this. But no, but what is it? Well, it's going to go in your tax bill, so it's a tax. I'm like, it is, but, and then as soon as I say but, it's a yes or no question. So I will support the 1%. But when it comes to us, I have to put my select board hat on. That's a different hat.
so it's interesting, now granted, this committee asked the select board to extend its charge. So it is indirectly this committee's fault that our charge is tied to that election. But the charge from the select board to this committee is to present its findings to the select board in time to achieve a town meeting vote no later than the 2026 annual town meeting that accommodates the November 3rd, 2026 state election. So I think, strictly speaking, that means we need to deliver our report in a time frame compatible. Our charge is to deliver a report in that time frame. At that point, it then becomes a question for the select board and for town meeting about what the right time is. So
Interesting
point, but yes, point taken. I mean, it's going to be. We will also hear there's never a good time argument, because there is never a good time. We will, I'm still interested in getting a broader sense from people about the idea of doing it at the same time as an override on purpose. If you do it close, but not exactly the same time as an override, oh yeah, CPA is going to get killed. Because everyone who wants the override to pass won't support it. And normally those would be the same people who would vote for both. So, but the people will avoid the CPA, voting the CPA because what they care about is the override. If you can present them as we could have, been I'm going to make up a number, 7% tax hike, or it could be a 6% tax hike plus a 1% tax hike with something mixed in, with a state match mixed in. That's the only way I would see this going forward successfully in that time frame is if,
That's a good point.
yeah. But that's a conversation that finance committee I know needs to have with the CFO, Sharon, about things like, because for this to work, we would actually need to the town would spend less on capital, and that would partly be made up by CPA. Otherwise, we're just spending more, we're just adding and not actually taking anything away. But I mean, I did have initial conversations with, town manager and town CFO accountant did seem like they were open to the possibility. And they liked the November timeframe, for the record, for an override, because that is early enough in the budget process where they could still make a budget either way. Normally the budget process, they've mostly drawn up a budget by then, and they start presenting the budget to, actually, I think you've got the budget presentation to the select board on Wednesday. That season's kicking off now. But you can imagine a vote a month before now would give them time to, switch to the override passed or override failed version of the budget before continuing with the process. So, all right, but anyway, we're not actually making a recommendation. Yes.
Let's
Okay,
move to
all right.
vote.
Yes, all right. So let's go ahead and vote on Martha's motion for the 1% recommendation, and then, I'll entertain some motions about exemptions too, I think, because I suspect that we're going to largely agree there on at least most, if not all of it. All right, so let's vote. This is for the motion for recommending 1%. Carlo,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Margaret,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Martha,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and Joe, yes, 7-0. So, all right. So there are a whole bunch of exemptions we could recommend. I think most of us probably remember most of them off the top of our heads at this point. We need a review.
Yeah, and plus you had them in here. didn't
Oh,
you? Actually, I didn't print out.
you're
your
looking at me,
part.
but I didn't make this beautiful report. That's all, Margaret.
I know, I
When I
thought,
read Margaret's report today, there was the first $100,000 for everybody.
Yes.
There was,
It wasn't worded that way.
well,
It was residential.
okay,
So
residential.
there's a whole
It-
commercial
okay.
piece that
Yeah.
needs to be
Okay,
answered,
so
which I didn't know what to do with. so
separate
I-
commercial question. Let's just
Right,
think
that's the reason why
residential
we're
for
talking.
now. First 100,000 for all residential property. That was one exemption. And I had not realized that the senior citizen low income and the ordinary low income could be completely exempted. I thought it was like an extra 100,000 for them. But it sounds like from this Natick adapted presentation that if you had low enough income or you were a senior citizen and low income, you would not have to pay this extra $100 at all. Which I think would be a really good selling point for the people who say, what about those poor people who can't afford the increase in taxes?
Mhm.
And
Right.
if you're poor enough, you don't have to.
Yeah, I
So,
agree. That's a good one.
clarify that, but I think that's what it said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just on the website to see what.
I'm on the same page as you, yes. Open the same one. Yes, that is, yes.
For seniors, it's low and moderate.
Yes, so you can do either or both. I'm hearing support for both. I think that's
is that something that a senior would have to say, like, fill out a letter and say, because, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, you'd have
Awesome.
to document,
Annually.
you'd have to document it.
because there's wealthy seniors in town as well.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
sixty,
no,
it's,
you know, right,
it's
yes.
60% of your age and an annual income that is less than 100% of the area median
Okay.
income. So, where low income is at 80% of the area median income. So, oftentimes moderate goes a little bit higher. So if I were to look at,
But it's not something that would automatically get processed when the town sends out the bill. The
No,
person would
that
have
person
to
would
call.
have to
Right, 'cause
take
the- 'cause
action.
The town
Okay.
doesn't know your income.
Right. That's what I was thinking. I'm
So
like, okay,
you
how
have
does
to
this
tell the
happen?
town your income for the town to give you the exemption.
But somewhere in this language says if you've already applied for low income status, you don't have to do more paperwork
No, you
because
do.
you're already in.
Right, yeah, if you've been deemed already qualified because,
Okay.
you don't have to keep qualifying. Or you can use whatever you qualify for.
Do we know what those
So
numbers
it's
are?
a
So
one
we could say.
application and done?
No, it's annual.
It's,
is
it's
annual.
annual, but
Yes,
if you,
right.
you only have to do it one time, because there's
Okay.
a break that the town gives for low income seniors already. And if you've qualified for that, then you would qualify for
Is
this.
that like
Okay.
senior circuit breaker, for
Yeah,
example?
yeah. And so 100% of area median income for a one person household is
Oh, maybe it was on that one.
$112,600. For a two person household is $128,700. And then 80%, which is low income, is $92,650 for one person. and 105,850 for two-person. And so, you know, a person's income would have to be below that, which, you know.
To get the, don't pay the
exemption.
extra $100.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which seems quite reasonable
Generous.
to me. Yes. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm still in favor, to be
Yeah.
clear, of, you know, I'm gonna throw most of the exemptions on it because again, it's
And of course, we have no idea how much money that is
No.
off
we
the
have,
table.
it's not no idea.
Yeah.
So the Community Preservation Coalition, so I mean, we can't do it like we, you know, unlike the value of your property, your income is not public record. I can't ask the town assessor for it. But although come to think of it, someone's status as having gotten a low income exemption might be a public record. I'm not sure. Seems like a sensitive topic, but not my department. But yes, the Community Preservation Coalition says, so it has a chart, which I'll go ahead and open up to look at in a second, but then says that this, the majority of CPA communities offering this exemption, this is the low income / low moderate income senior exemption. They're talking about like it's one exemption. Experienced less than a 1% reduction in expected CPA revenue. I mean,
Surprised.
it's,
I think, you know, the fact that you have to take a positive action.
I mean, there's that,
Right.
there's also the fact that it's just, you know, not, I mean, in a lot of communities, including Reading, it's hard to live here on low income, as anyone in the affordable housing business knows well. There aren't gonna be that many people in that situation. There will be some, there will definitely be some, and I'm sure that this will be valuable to them.
And yeah, no, I mean, I think we
But
should.
it is,
We should.
Okay.
they will also, you could safely assume that people who qualify the low income exemption do not own the most expensive property in town. So it's going to be getting exemptions on people who are paying smaller amounts to begin with. So not that many people and probably less expensive property to start
Yep.
with.
So
So
are we
this
voting on
adds
this?
up.
Is this,
Well, we haven't
No
had any
motions?
motions
Oh.
yet.
You want to make the motion
go
this time?
Sandy.
So well, do we want to do, oh, okay, well, yeah, go ahead and
We're gonna do one exemption per vote, or are we doing
Bundling?
all the exemptions now?
So there are 4 exemptions.
if there's a bunch that if there are ones that are not controversial, and right now I'm hearing first 100,000 of
Residential.
residential property value
Mhm.
is not controversial. Low income is not exemption is not controversial, and low and moderate income senior is not controversial.
I thought we weren't gonna do commercial.
But we
Well, I
haven't gotten
talked
there
about
yet.
that.
So
Not there
the
yet.
2 that are non-controversial are those first 2, and then we've
Or-
got commercial.
3 if you count low
Yeah.
income and low moderate income
Yeah.
seniors, 2 separate things.
Why
So
is commercial
It
controversial?
might not be.
Let's just vote on these 3.
Okay.
And then we don't have to worry about
All right.
whether commercial
Right.
is, and we can discuss commercial, because we haven't
Yes.
discussed.
I was going to say, I'm guessing you haven't attended a bunch of, Carlo sure has, but you probably haven't attended a lot of select board meetings in which they discuss split tax rates.
I have watched a few of those.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
I have.
So context for Carl, if you missed anything, was it sounds like I was putting aside the question of how to handle commercial property to discuss separately, because I think that we're all on the same page about first $100,000 of residential, low income and low and moderate senior income.
Yes.
So
So the motion might be as follows, to apply the exemption to the first $100,000 of assessed value for residential properties, number 1. Number 2, to exempt low-income households. And number 3, to exempt low and moderate income households.
Senior housing.
low and moderate,
Senior
Senior
housing.
housing.
Yeah.
Those would be households, right?
I think that's clear enough for us to make our recommendation to the select board.
I
so-
second that.
Okay.
All right.
Hearing no further discussion.
Would you like a captain? Nobody else volunteered to be chair when this came up again you know. in
We love
August,
you,
whatever.
Joe.
All right,
Okay.
anyway,
That's fine.
moving right along. So, any further discussion? Hearing none. This is voting on recommending all three of the exemptions that Sandy described. First 100,000 residential, low income residential, and low and moderate income senior residential. All right, let's vote. Carlo,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Margaret,
Yes.
Sandy.
Yes.
Martha,
Yes,
Sarah,
Yes,
and Joe, yes, 7-0. So commercial, we've talked about this a bit. We have the option to exempt, so we could either exempt the first 100,000 of commercial, we could exempt commercial entirely, we could do neither. There are examples of CPA communities who do each of these different things.
should we take a pulse?
well, first,
I mean,
I
it's
just,
interesting on the one where exempting commercial 100%. The note in the website says very few communities have adopted this exemption. And they specifically, I mean, I think what's unique, you know, or notable about Reading is the fact that we have classified or split tax rents, which is, I think, the point that people were referencing to the fact that we charge commercial at a slightly higher rate than we do residential.
I mean,
And so that might be you know, so that for us, you know, given the a lot of the feedback that happened when the tax rate was set not that long ago, where commercial feels like they're taking on the chin, you know, that would sort of suggest potentially exempting them to keep with the classified rate, but.
I just want to point out that in the document that we're going to discuss next, it says we don't have a split tax rate, so. we
Yeah,
need to
no, I
fix the
don't, right,
document.
yeah, no,
Right.
no, I didn't, that, I
Document
didn't
just
touch the commercial
document's just getting
section.
started.
It's
Yeah.
under-
I didn't,
Right.
I didn't, because we really haven't, in my mind, or it could have happened on a day I was here, really talked about commercial. So I left that section alone
Yeah.
and I'm pretty certain that, I mean, I follow enough of the local stuff to know, I think we have a split tax rate, but those are things that I just wanted to confirm. So that piece, I felt like I didn't want to get out in front of all of it.
I would certainly support at least giving the commercial the first $100,000 like the residential. I am on the fence about whether to exempt commercial completely. I would love to hear other people's opinions.
I think we should exempt commercial completely. We have a problem with keeping business in our downtown, and I think it's I think it's just you know, we just did the split tax change and all that. And that's my feeling, living here for 30, I don't know, 5 years. So. Anyone?
Do we know what the
I'm
value
not
of the
sure.
commercial is and what?
I can look that up, 1 sec.
Okay.
Go ahead, Sandy.
Yeah, no, I don't know if anybody else can look it up faster than I can, but I'm not sure that we have the option, being a split tax community, to exempt the first 100,000. I think it's all or nothing, in or out.
Really? Oh.
When you calculated the potential $1 million, did that include commercial?
No.
So there you go.
Let me go find my thing here.
Yeah, all of our discussions have not included
Yeah,
commercial.
I just feel like so many other people, it's like our downtown businesses are precious.
Yeah.
And
On the other hand, devil's advocate here, the select board just had this agonizing meeting where they came up with the end result of 1.14 as the split. And if we charge an extra $100 to residential and 0 extra to commercial, we're actually backpedaling that split a little bit in effect. Because the residential are gonna add a % to their taxes that the commercial aren't adding. So, you know, we are in some ways negating the act of the select board.
except to be devil's advocate.
Okay.
It is the Community
Which one's
Preservation
the devil?
Act.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, I know. It is the Community Preservation Act for the benefit of the community, and I think of the community as the people who live here, not as much the people that work here. That's my feeling about that.
Okay.
Carlo, can we ask him to chime in?
I mean,
I'm gonna not partake because I own a commercial property in
Oh, yeah.
town. So I think,
Can he give us a little bit of how you think the select board would respond to this?
yeah,
I wouldn't, I wouldn't put Carlo in that position.
Okay,
Carlo,
sorry.
I appreciate what you're doing there. I think that makes sense. I have a strong, given, yes, given everything I know, I would be surprised to hear Carlo come out swinging in favor of higher taxes on commercial property. That would be quite a surprise. But not even, yeah. So
How do you
for my own
feel?
part, okay, so yeah, I'm trying to do the chair thing where I let other
Yeah.
people talk first.
I'll be Joe.
I'm looking at Kate and I'm looking at Sandy.
I think about this politically. Because I don't think, the financial considerations, are of much moment if I understand the numbers correctly, which you presented a long time ago. And we kind of took it provisionally as this doesn't make a lot of difference. And why are we buying an argument, when it's going to be a close call as to whether or not we even get up for a vote, never mind what that vote would be. So they're into my quick comments.
So I did pull up, so in the presentations we've given, I've done residential only on purpose, which betrays my own thinking a little bit here. But to answer the earlier question about the difference it would make, so the total surcharges collected at 1% it's a difference of $51,000, about 5%. Or
If we charged commercial as well.
yes, so or I guess it's more than 5%. I can't do the math in my head here. It's 790 surcharges, that's before the match. Of residential,
50,000.
That's 5%.
84 or
Little more,
841.
6%.
$841,000 if we included commercial. Both of these are assuming a first 100,000 deduction in both cases. But yeah, it's
not a big number.
not a big number.
It's a gesture of goodwill.
Okay, yeah, I'm hearing a lot of the same things here. Kate, do you want to talk before I
Well,
open my big
yeah,
mouth?
I'm kind of in Sarah's camp here that, it just, and politically, and I think it's an easier sell if we exempt them altogether.
Are there any people who are residents who would look at this and say, I would have voted for it if commercial was included, but I don't want to be paying more than a bigger share and commercial not? That's the only question I have is,
Or you could argue
That-
there, like Carlo, there are people who live in town who are gonna pay it, and then they also own businesses or properties
so
in
they'd be
town.
double paying.
And
Yeah,
That's true. A lot of the
Okay.
downtown business owners do live here.
that's true.
So.
Good point. They'd be double taxed.
Right.
All right, Joe?
No, I'm with, unsurprisingly, I agree with everything that's been said here. I think that we're very much on the same page in terms of, I think this would generate an awful lot of heat and not a lot of revenue. That it would be politically controversial, that it would be misinterpreted as some sort of attack on our local businesses, which obviously wouldn't be the way it's meant in any case, but like, it's not worth, having a fight over it, honestly. If the, residents continue to be concerned that residential property values are rising faster than personal property values, that's what the split tax rate is for. So if that's what the voters want, they have that lever that they can pull. But in terms of CPA, and then the bit about the benefits too, I do think the benefits accrue disproportionately to residents rather than businesses. Like businesses and residents both need the roads to be paved and the streets, to be policed and all that. But I don't know, trails in the town forests is definitely more of a resident thing than a business thing.
Storing historical documents.
Storing historical documents, definitely more of a that is something that,
Affordable housing.
my kid is gonna check out at the library for a school project. It's not something that, you need in order to make a sandwich at Valerie's.
Okay, I'm convinced. I would like to make a motion that we exempt all commercial properties completely.
Second.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Sandy. Any further discussion?
Joe, can I ask a procedural question?
Sure.
So, as in the cases right now where I am not getting involved in this discussion, it will be the same when it comes in front of the board. So I was trying to think to myself how this could play out where here's my question.
Hmm.
When we make this presentation to the select board and we vote on the exemptions, we vote on the percentage, can the select board say, no, we want 1.5 or 0.5?
No, we are purely a, research advisory committee. We've been sent to go do some homework because.
Okay.
As you well know,
That's what I thought. So as Sandy mentioned,
and
two of us will have to recuse ourselves on this commercial portion of this exemptions.
this is
So
actually.
that's when it will become political, but I'm hoping the select board, adheres to the CPA committee, and I'll leave it there.
This might be a question for town council or that is otherwise above my pay grade. I'm curious how this plays out, because for purposes of our committee making recommendations, it's very easy for us to just split out the commercial one to deliberate on it separately from the others. We're just making recommendations, so it doesn't matter anyway, really, in the same way. For the select board to put something on the town meeting warrant, is that one vote? Is that a series of votes? Is that, one vote that commercial property owners in a community that has less than 10% of property as commercial, would have to exempt themselves from? Would you exempt yourself from just one vote and not all the others? That's a question I don't know, and I think it's a really good question.
Yeah, I think procedurally it would be given, I know Ivrea a little bit better than some of you. I'm not putting words in her mouth, but I think Ivrea would say, be as clear and concise as you can and separate everything, because there's parts of this that people are going to like and there's parts that people aren't going to like. So I don't know. I'm not an attorney, but if the warrant says CPA 1% with the state match of whatever percent that's not going to be known, and we say nothing else, then that's not being forthcoming. We have to mention all the exemptions. Whether they're separate votes or not is a different story.
Town meeting, I'm more confident in my being a town meeting member and not a select board member. I am more confident in my understanding of town meeting procedure. For town meeting, I'm sure that there will be one motion to put one proposition on the ballot. And that proposition will include a surcharge and a list of exemptions. So that will be one.
That's
vote.
statutorily required.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a single article.
Right, but at the select board level, they can do whatever they want. That's why it's good we're having separate votes on all this.
And at town meeting, certainly people can stand up and make a motion to amend the thing that's on the warrant and take away an exemption or increase, that
But,
Yeah.
making the sausage happens all the time.
right,
Yeah, no, that's, again, one of the things that took us a bunch of time in town meeting this last month was discussions about what you can and can't make amendments on. But I'm pretty sure that if there is an article on putting CPA on the ballot, then any of the statutorily permitted list of exemptions would be in scope to include or exclude. And likewise, any permissible range of the surcharge would be, in scope. So I don't think we are tying town meeting's hands by saying this. If town meeting wanted to add or remove an exemption, or for that matter, change the surcharge, I believe they'd have the power to do so.
I think
so
we're off.
can't the select board?
Yes.
But the question was, when we present this to the select board, should we present it as separate votes, the way we've
Well,
done.
We
doesn't
don't,
matter.
we're not,
Doesn't
like,
matter.
we don't present,
Yeah.
no, the question is not, we don't present one thing. But
Okay.
do they take one vote? Do they take a bunch of votes? Is it, if it's one vote, do they all get to participate? I don't know. It's a good question. I would like to think that the select board would, even if it were only 3 of the 5 members would just go with what this committee recommended. Since we have put a bunch of time into this, and I think they know it, appreciate that.
I think we were about to vote. And
No,
now
I
we're
mean,
talking about
It was,
something
it was,
totally
it was,
different.
sorry, okay, fair.
Let's finish the vote.
I'd like to amend the motion if I could,
Uh,
withdraw my second and
That's not a
no,
thing.
no.
What is
all
it,
right.
well, informally, what is it that
I-
you would like?
Okay, I just wanted to expand commercial to include industrial to the extent we have any.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh,
Or
yes,
say-
I
or
think
say
that's
or say non-residential.
Yeah, they actually talk about it as commercial, class 3 commercial and class 4.
Yes, I think
Industrial.
that's the spirit of what you proposed. Yes, that is, you're right.
Non-residential.
It is class 3 commercial and class 4 industrial properties. So yeah, that is the exemption that we would be
I
recommending.
accept that friendly amendment.
All right, yeah, I think that's fine. That was the intent, is
I'll second that one.
number two on this list.
Okay.
That Margaret and I are looking at. All
Any
right, so yeah,
discussion?
so just for, any further discussion before we vote on this? All right.
Heard this way.
I mean, well, I'm guessing Carlos abstaining since he abstained from the discussion.
Yes, abstain.
So Carlo abstains. Kate,
Yes.
Margaret,
Yes,
Sandy,
Yes.
Martha,
Yes,
Sarah,
Yes,
and Joe, yes. All right. 601. For exempting, commercial. All right, cool. That was a good discussion. I know it took time, but like, this is kind of literally what we've been here for a year and a half for. So like, it's worth talking for a few extra
Yay,
minutes.
we have the answer.
Yeah, we just need to write it down, which is,
Jackie's job.
easier to know. Well,
Well,
Margaret's
I-
been, actually, it's been Margaret's job in terms of the report.
yeah, so now I
Um,
know what to do with that section.
Yes. So, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, there are any other topics of surcharge or exemptions that we need to make any recommendation on? No, I don't think so. So let's talk about a report.
yeah.
Margaret, you sent a report last night. I'm afraid I had an awful day at work and did not look at it hardly at all.
I'll tell you, Margaret, I am happy to take pictures. Actually, I have some really good pictures. So unless you had some, there was a lot of
No,
places.
I did reach out to Andrew McNichol,
Mhm.
to see, like there's a image on the website that that's kind of looking over that.
Common.
Yeah, that I wanted to see if I could get in a couple of other images, but if other folks have, so I think that's going to be the cover and,
I can just send you a bunch.
yeah, but then if you have other things, that
Yeah.
would be great. I mean, and so I did pull like, a couple I pulled from other reports.
I have some pictures.
So on page 20 and 21, those are Reading pictures. I got I got a picture from the cemetery is ours. The historical were ours. I did
Yeah.
the affordables. I left one.
Those are kind of pixelated, the top and the bottom ones. I can get,
Yeah, get better ones.
yeah, I'll get you better ones.
All right, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to tell you that right up front. If you
Yeah.
need any pictures, and
Did they come from your report and they just were small version?
I don't know, maybe. Oh, these could have been from the handout. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have better ones and you have good ones.
Mhm.
And if you have any rec pictures, Kate, you want to send, you
Mhm.
can just send them all to
I
me.
have requested, yes.
Okay.
I'll follow
Yeah.
up on that.
Okay,
No, that seems like the sort
Yeah,
of
but
thing
it felt more important just to try to get more of the content done and I could come
yeah, yeah.
back, sweep in and
Mhm.
get the.
And I sent an email to Jackie and Joe, but I didn't want to send it to more people because of open meeting law, but I went through and found a number of minor edits.
Yep.
And it might make more sense for me to send that email to you.
Yep.
So that you can have them in front of you rather than trying to take notes on everything I have.
Yeah, no, that would be great. And same, I'd encourage other people to.
But I don't know, should I still go down that list as part of open meeting law in our in person, or only the most important changes?
So the nice thing is that, you know, if you bring something up here, you can talk about anything here, and then, in fact, if you refer back to it, like, and don't add anything to it, you can, you know, repeat it outside of here, because the thing that we
Okay.
talked about here is public.
It would be helpful, I didn't have a chance to look at the report either, but it would be helpful to know what you've already commented on, so no one has to reinvent the wheel.
Okay.
And we can
So
add-
am I allowed to email this to the rest of the committee at this point then?
Do you send it to
How about
Jack?
Jack's?
Yeah.
Circulates it.
If you want.
Oh, I've already sent it to you,
Yeah,
so you
but
can
yeah,
just
she-
forward
she
it to
can-
everybody else. Okay,
Forward it, I think that's fine.
great.
I mean, we could, you know, I don't know if we need to look at it here so that, you know, any deliberation about it is happening here. I guess I could present.
I mean, I did, you know, there were a bunch of little spots where I left questions, some of which we've already answered, which was around, you know, what exemptions we were gonna have. And again, I didn't want to presume.
Yeah,
We need to get Kate.
okay, yeah,
Kate
so,
in
so
there for
she's
Eric.
got the
Yeah.
email
Yeah.
up there.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so
Right,
there
this
we
is
go. We
perfect.
can
Yeah,
see
let's
my corrections.
Do this, and then we could also, you know.
All right,
just
so,
Thinking out loud about what we're doing here, I think, we can go ahead and go through Martha's email, because we've got it open here. Would make sense to me to go through, because there are a bunch of comments that Margaret highlighted in the report. And so it would make sense to me to go through the report, and if anybody has the answers to those, talk about it here.
Or figure out who's gonna be the
Or figure out
responsible.
who's responsible for filling it in. Yep.
And do the edits after that, or
Uh,
not do the edits.
or,
but what do you mean by do the
But
edits?
the edits that,
No, well, let's look at Martha's email right now. We've got it up. and-
okay.
okay,
Page
so
10.
when I say page 10, it's not page 10
Oh.
on the pages there. It was page 10 as I went through the packet. Because not all, somebody said they were gonna redo the page numbers, so I
Right.
was just following the packet. So if you look at the list, the page that has the list of the conservation members.
Right here,
Yes.
page 2.
Page 2, there we go. My name was spelled wrong. It's Carl, not Carol, and Chirag Stalacker has an R on the end of his name. And then I don't remember who Craig is. That name is familiar, but I do not think that we have a Craig on the Conservation Commission.
Right, and then that was just from the website,
Right, so,
other than the spelling errors of mine.
yeah, so we
Keep
might
going.
have at some point had a Craig, but I think you should delete whoever that Craig person is. Sometimes we get people appointed to our committee who never actually show up. You know, they are
Had
on
good
paper, but
intentions.
yeah, or they didn't have good intentions. They
Oh.
wanted to be on CPDC and they got put on conservation. They're like, well,
Oh.
that's not the committee I wanted, and so we never see them. So, yeah, so I think that may be the case with whoever that Craig was. And maybe also on page 10, you were saying, are there any other committees we presented to? And you didn't list Reading Open Land Trust. And I don't remember who else is on Reading Open Land Trust besides Bob Connors, but you should include whoever they are.
Their board is listed on their website, I believe.
Right.
Which may or may not be up to date.
Kate, and Rec Commission, you're listed as Catherine, but then.
Yeah, what's your preference?
Yeah, what do you prefer, Kate or Catherine?
Catherine's my legal name. Kate's my nickname.
And is it Katie or Kate?
Kate.
So it's not Katie, so we could at least have that to, you know, versus Katie Gallant.
So we can take Eric out of the Rec Commission.
Well, no, he's
Well,
still
he
on.
was
no,
at one, he's still. on
Oh,
the
what am I
committee.
saying?
Yeah, he's a member of the.
Sorry,
yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
sorry. I meant over here.
I mean, we could give him credit for having been there
Yeah,
on the
he-
committee.
he
You don't need to
served.
delete his name. You can just have.
Two
Eric.
people?
Yes, you can have
Okay.
Eric.
He's not-
Yeah, he served.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
This is just acknowledging everyone who served, and
Okay.
he most definitely did. So. there you go.
Alrighty.
Right, and then I think,
He's not, when we do the report, I don't think we can have him
As a
as a
current
committee member.
Right.
'cause-
Yes, it does look like the Reading Open Land Trust website is out of date, because I noticed that Jackie McCarthy took notes at the meeting.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And she is not listed on their board of directors. Like, they have a clerk, Lori Schaefer, listed, but that.
I don't remember everybody that was there.
I don't either. So, yeah. My guess is that this is not,
So if
it's a
somebody,
website that's not out
if,
of, that's out
if
of date.
somebody can get me the list of people to acknowledge.
I can, let me take the action item to, follow up with Bob and ask who to credit on that committee.
Sounds good.
Hold on, I'm writing that down before I can forget it.
I might somewhere have a list who was there at the meeting I presented to a year ago, but I would not have an easy time laying my hands on it, and it
Yeah.
wouldn't be current anyway.
So,
So my other comments, moving on 3 more pages, where you say Community Preservation Act, parentheses, CPA, you didn't put a closed parentheses on the other end of CPA. And then,
I feel like these I can pick up. I don't
Yeah.
think we need to go through.
right,
Yeah.
What would be really helpful is, going through where I feel like I'm missing something.
Okay.
So
sure.
Why don't you walk
potential
us through-
future overrides, which is on page 9 of, I mean, what Natick did, and I think it's smart, is, basically to say, overrides are a fact of life, and every now and again, we have to kind of correct things, or we have to take the big hit in terms of services, in terms of keeping and maintaining services. So I know about the 2018 and the 2025 one, but I don't, but I don't know,
So
won't it be 2026?
it hypothetically, yes.
well, I was
Although it's
counting Killam and
Oh,
I'm not counting
those
Oh,
those
okay.
are
That's
debt
debt
exclusion.
exclusion,
debt
not so.
exclusion and capital, debt and operational overrides is what that section is doing.
Hold on, let me find the section where.
Page 9.
Page
Page
9.
9. So,
Does it really mark it though? Do both?
Yeah.
so, yeah, I think that section is pretty critical, as,
Okay.
many people have pointed out,
Yeah.
including Carlo, of course. This is going to be,
Brought
that
up.
paragraph is going to drive more discussion than a lot of others, so it's probably worth a rewrite from the top. I can certainly take the AI to draft something and send it.
Yep.
So let me.
We're just gonna do that paragraph or the whole page.
Actually, the whole paragraph.
Well, so definitely the paragraph.
'Cause
Let's look at
It
the-
would really benefit from
Yeah.
your finance committee perspective.
Okay, I mean, that's,
I mean,
sure.
feel free what, you
No, no,
can keep it
that's
as
fair.
is, but if, make it more Reading specific and put it in
No,
more
no, I'm-
context, I don't think it would, as you said, it's gonna get a lot of.
Yeah, you should just,
I'm about to say, I'm trying to
this
sign
is
up.
your department.
No, that's why we have somebody from finance committee on the committee. So, all right. Revise page 9 of CPA. All right, so yes, so for that question, I can take the AI to draft something new. And in particular, that would, because that has to talk about both recent past overrides and the, near inevitability of some kind of override in 2026, or like theoretically could happen in spring 2027, but.
Yeah. But, a little bit of the recap in the past, but then the projection of something ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I know more than I want to about that timeline.
And then I've been using 20, so to the extent, right now I'm using 2025 numbers, which is what was in the slide presentation.
Yeah,
And I'm still using, I think, the 2025 tax rate, though it just got reset.
yeah, but that was the tax rate for fiscal year. Or was that actually, no, was that this year's tax rate? Well, never mind. We're in FY 2026. That's the thing. This fiscal year, calendar year thing is always a headache, but yeah. So we don't have the fiscal year 2026 assessments until January. So I'm not proposing that I think the report should just be done in terms of fiscal year 25 numbers. We have all those. The tax rates were set a year ago. The assessments were finalized 11 months ago or 10 months ago. So we have those numbers, we can share them. And we also know, roughly everything is going to be 2.5% bigger than it was before. It'll be there's some nuance to that. The property tax split changed by 0.03, I think. So like that is gonna change something a little bit, but again, not a ton.
So I mean, for now, I think we should stay with 2025.
I'll get the 2026 numbers as soon as I can, but we should not block the report on that.
So if you look at the paragraph that says impact on property owners, that's using the 2025 numbers.
Yeah, when I rewrite this page, I will be very explicit about which fiscal year I'm talking about.
Okay. Or you could
So
just
I think
put
I like to be clear
would
about-
pay rather than will pay, something like that.
Yeah, no, right, given, yes, exactly. No, we don't need to wordsmith this. I think
Yeah. Okay.
this is exactly the sort of thing that I'm pedantic about, which is why I like being on finance committee. So,
Okay.
And then I've been using $1 million as the number and then the state match on top of that.
where exactly are we looking now?
I highlighted, we skipped over, but I highlighted on page.
I think we want to do
Five.
that, though. Those are good numbers.
And then the number shows up again someplace else, but
The charts in the,
Yeah,
in the handout show the local being about 800 if we're going on a 1%,
yes,
and then with the match being.
okay, so that's the match is on top. Okay, so then,
Which matches what her paragraph says, the one with just the 1 million highlighted.
Yeah.
More than a million
Yeah, so that-
after factoring in the state.
so that's
match.
correct.
yeah. I'll take a look at all the numbers here and double check them.
Yeah.
But at a glance,
I just want to make sure I'm not overstating it.
like this doesn't yet comment on exempting commercial, but that's,
But your numbers included
yes,
not
right,
having
right,
commercial,
exactly.
so
This
you're
is,
okay.
yeah, I think this is,
And shouldn't that paragraph that's a big yellow highlighted part, shouldn't it end with low and moderate income senior housing?
Yeah, and again, I didn't have all the exemptions, so.
Yeah.
Good, okay.
And then, so then I thought it was an interesting number to say if we had adopted CPA in 2002 when we voted on it the first time. And so that $20 million number is a NADIC number from 2006. So that was what NADIC calculated that they have, that they've lost as opportunity. And so I don't know if we can go back to 2002 and so, I think we're,
yeah, that's,
A lot of work.
and that's harder, put it that way. It's not, probably not impossible. I mean, how much tax writing collected, you could do some, at least back of the envelope.
yeah, maybe a back
estimates.
and envelope on the low side.
I mean,
but
I'm
that's
not,
still, that's gonna be a big number. I mean, I think that, the point that our best selling is that number as well as the fact that, hey, people are, our money that is being collected from real estate transfer fees and other fees that the registry collects are going to these other communities when they should be coming back to Reading. And it's because we don't have this CPA and, and it's a lost opportunity.
Right.
Did we, Joe, do we know what the percentage was that the town voted on the last time?
Pretty sure it was 1%.
It was?
Yeah, which is, back then, that was very conservative at the time. At the time, many communities were adopting at 3%, but
Yeah.
the committee correctly gauged that there wasn't an appetite for more tax than that, and in fact, it turns out that there barely wasn't enough appetite for even that much. So,
Okay. What page are we on now?
So then, so that number.
Margaret, what page are
I
you
am on
on?
page 12. So the NADIC plan listed all these reports that we don't have.
Joe, can I add something to that last paragraph we were working on?
Which one? Is this back on executive summary or was this on page 9? Talked about both of those.
The one where it had the $1 million and the 1% and that one.
Page 5.
Okay, so the executive summary on page 5?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned with that 27.65%. I know it's an average, but wasn't last year's 14%?
Last year's was 18. So this is worth, I actually, I will say the 27. So I think the 1 million might actually still be right, but not by as much, because I think those numbers, and I did want to call this out when we got to it. The section about the state match talks about numbers that seem higher than what I thought I had seen by a small amount, which makes me think that those are probably the all 3 rounds of matching numbers and not the, yeah, what is that? That's, what page are you on
I'm
there?
on page 37.
37. All right. So,
And this I got strictly from their website. This is what where everything ends at the end of the year.
yeah.
And so, I just updated that chart, to me, the last, I
Yeah.
guess, 10
So,
years.
yeah. So this is because the numbers were like that 16.87 was actually 14 for that year. And then for the following year, it was more. So these numbers seem weird to me, like they're off by 1.
Go to the website if you,
Yeah.
I want to check this out because I
Yeah.
think that
I got it from the
fiscal
CPA.
year. Okay, no, this might make sense because it was the high match year was fiscal year 20. Okay, but the high match was paid out in fiscal year 2022, which means the match was given in fall of 2021. That checks out. But then I thought the numbers had recovered slightly. Interest rates aren't as high as they were. So I'll double check those
Yeah,
numbers.
please do.
But the other thing is, again, I think these might include all 3 rounds. And so, whereas the first round is what Reading would be eligible for, and therefore is the match that, we should be looking at.
Yeah, I just want to be careful where even though this chart's in there and people can read it and most people aren't. Let's be honest, most people aren't. They're gonna just, come to vote on that day and there's gonna be an extra thing to vote on and I know it's just gonna be, there's all this information is not gonna be on that. I understand that, but I just don't like that 27.65, even though it relates to this, is in the executive summary, because it's very misleading to the average person, and where the 7 of us have a lot more insight to this, where a layman, Joe taxpayer is like, oh wow, 27%. I'll support that. And then the next year it's 12. So
Well,
I just
what I can do, Carlo, is put in the range in that sentence. I mean, later on, I reference the low as being right now the 16.87 and the
Okay.
high being,
Okay.
45 point or 43.84 or whatever the correct
the
numbers
other-
are, and just clarify it, so, but still keep with the average, but, say the high and the low as well.
Right, I mean,
But I agree with Carlo in that the 16 of the low that you're gonna discuss is probably, that's more in line with historical data.
well,
The 43
is
it's almost
really
the
higher. I mean,
outlier.
even
not.
even in the 10-year range we're looking at there, that is 16 is the lowest.
I am now.
2017 is the
I just
closest.
spoke.
Right, but the 43.8.
Carlo, are you meant to be muted? Possibly. Um,
10-0, right?
Carlo, I think you mean to be muted. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I want to make sure. You said I am now, and I was like, I hope that wasn't an answer to the question of am I?
No, my daughter came in, sorry.
No worries. I just trying to preempt anything that you wouldn't want to put on air.
At least we're not broadcasting.
No, but anyway, I did
Are we
have-
recording? We are recording. Okay.
so yeah, someone could probably request that recording. Not that I think that's how they necessarily want to spend 2 hours. All right. So yeah, what I was going to say about the match is that the match is easily the hardest to explain part of of the entire CPA.
Mhm.
So while, I think that saying 16% is disingenuously low and saying 30% is disingenuously high, saying it's in this range, maybe that's okay. But it's hard to, just, this is a distribution in the sense of statistics, not in the sense of fund distribution. And it's very hard to characterize. So I might be tempted to say something like, our projections indicate CPA adoption will bring in more than $1 million annual revenues to fund the above projects after factoring in the state match. And not specify the percentage
Yeah,
in
I
the
mean-
executive summary,
I mean,
because
the average
can
over
go-
10
we can go
years is
into-
24.3. I mean,
sure, we have a page here that, where we go into, more detail for the people who want it. Carla's right, most people aren't gonna read, the fraction of people who read the whole report, very small. But yeah, I do think that I don't want to spend, people have spending limited attention on this. I don't want them to spend all their time trying to understand the ineffable mysteries of the CPA state match.
No, yeah, and I hate the word match. It really bothers me. It should be state contributing funds. It's not a match.
It is a fractional match. I mean, we're getting into semantics.
Well, but it's, listen,
My 401k match
you
is,
donate $100, I'm gonna match it. What does that mean?
it can mean, in the context of municipal finance, it actually can mean a lot of different things, like,
I mean, in layman's terms, we're gonna raise money, we're gonna raise money for a charity. We're gonna match the funds. My company is gonna match the funds. And okay, oh, great, that's great. I'll give $100. Well, I'm gonna give $10.
I've seen, of course, we just did annual giving week stuff at work, it's that time of year.
Yeah, I always think
And
about it
there's
at our
people
work, it's like,
matching-
there's a 4% match on your 401k.
Right, but you're disclosing that. We're saying state matching funds highlighted, and it's not matching funds. I've said this from the beginning. I mean, I know it's semantics, but it's not matching funds. It really bothers me.
All right, let me play
That's
with the
their
words
term.
here
I got
to,
you.
How about contribution?
Yeah, contribution's fine.
yeah.
I
After
don't feel
factoring in-
comfortable with contributions.
It's,
We can look into what.
Yeah, but we
other
can try to find
adjectives that
a
are
better
being
word.
used.
than
yeah,
match.
because match, I get on the one hand, it is a match in the sense that it scales in proportion with the amount that we raise. So if we raise twice as much, they would put in twice as much. And in that sense of the word match, like our contribution goes up, their contribution goes up, it matches. It is not 100% match, nor is it 50% match, nor is it a 5% match. It's, like we just said, somewhere in the ballpark of the high teens to low to mid 20s, typically.
But it's guaranteed not to be zero, because that was one of the questions that the
5%.
Conservation Commission came up is, well, what if the state just decides not to do it anymore? But
The law
there's
says, right.
always gonna be real estate transactions. There's always gonna be some money in that pot. The pot might be smaller or bigger.
Yeah.
There might be more towns pulling out of that pot, but it's gonna be non-zero.
But yeah, no, point taken. I don't want to imply 100% match because that's nonsense. I don't want to, but I do want to, it is a match in the sense of it goes up if we raise more, the state puts in more. So
About like
I'll
a
figure-
yearly defined percentage match, so that you're coming up with a phrase that gives the variability. And you can put in a range, but I think you have to inform it conceptually as well as quantitatively. I really do.
partial match. Yeah, that's smaller words and might suffice. I can suggest something here for, I gotta look at these numbers
So
anyway.
Sandy's phrasing kind of includes the variability, I
Yeah,
mean, you
and
could-
that's exactly what I don't want to spend the executive summary unpacking, because if we do that, people will not read about anything else. They will be bored and confused at the same time.
But it is important because you do, if you put the 27 point, whatever it is in
Like I
there.
said, I wouldn't put the percentage, especially
wouldn't
not
either.
to
I think
two
it's
decimal
misleading.
places like that.
Yeah.
No, I think that's, you know, it will never be exactly
In
27.65%.
10 years, you've hit 27% twice.
Yeah. I like the partial match idea.
Yeah, all right, cool.
Okay.
Thank you. Good suggestion. All right, let's, Margaret, what are other areas? So you've highlighted the executive summary, you've highlighted the consideration for CPA adoption. We've,
Back to page 12.
um,
So page 12, there are these reports that Natick have, a comprehensive master plan. The only thing that I saw that we had was the housing production plan from 2023 and the open space and recreation plan from 2022 to 2029. And
This is an Andrew question, isn't it? You know,
that's definitely an Andrew question.
okay, so I'll send.
And I
Andrew.
added in Birch Meadow
Master plan.
master plan.
And I know, I think I've heard some talk about us doing a town-wide
the
master
town-
plan,
the
but it's
town
not
is-
done yet.
The town has, right, it was very confusing because there was also a discussion of a facilities master plan, like in the same meeting, and there was like, wait, why are we, no, we're in the same budget. And despite the fact that they both have the words master plan, they're entirely different things. One has to do with keeping track of like when, you know, every furnace in this town's buildings is gonna kick the bucket in the future, and the other has to do with, you know, things like developing the Eastern Gateway and or whatever.
So I'll send Andrew a thing, but if any, you know, similar to Martha, if other folks have any suggestions, just let me know on plans. On page 13, there's a fancy chart. So this is in your wheelhouse, Joe. Whether we want to do something like that or whether or not what we want to put in there. So that was the Natick chart, but it can be the Reading chart, so. Yeah.
I mean, this is, the thing about this, well, if we exempt commercial and industrial,
Did not even.
then
include
this
it.
chart gets real boring real fast.
Yeah.
Because there's just residential. And the fact that mixed use is called out as separate from commercial, I'm actually a little confused. That's okay. In any case, I don't think we need that chart, given that we are going to recommend.
Just residential.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do think that maybe there's a place to put in here because we do owe an explanation for why we recommended exempting commercial. So I think we should, maybe not in the form of this chart, include something to say, we estimate,
Yeah.
you know, here's the estimate for residential, here's the estimate for commercial, you know, this is the
We'll say how little it was gonna
basically
be.
say how little it was gonna be.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's such a small fraction of Reading's tax base.
And then maybe, so it has a capital intensive master plan goal. We do have some kind of capital plan, correct?
Yes.
And is that a formal document or a
Yes.
Excel spreadsheet?
Yes, so there is a capital improvements program that actually town meeting, it is approved by town meeting. There are always revisions, so town meeting votes on it every 6 months. And it is the town finance department's best estimate of what our capital expenditures will be for the next 10 years.
Okay, so if anybody has the name of that plan or
Yeah, it's the,
maybe I can get it from the town warrant or something like that.
yeah, I mean, it's a CIP or capital improvements program is what you're looking for as far as the name. There is actually a question though, it's gonna be, because the CPA doesn't just directly pay for things on a capital plan.
Right.
It would actually be something where we would, if the CPA is paying for something, then the town could take it off of the capital plan because the town would no longer need to be paying for it. Or if the town, it is of course also possible for the town and CPA to both pay for something.
Mhm.
But that's,
And I think there was a question that came up at the conservation meeting of whether if something's already on the capital plan, does it qualify for CPA funding? And there was some
I talked
indication that it
further
didn't.
with Chuck about that, and I think there may have been some misunderstanding on, I have no idea who's part. Because it sounds like it is, again, not, if CPA is paying for it, then it doesn't belong in the capital plan because the capital plan is for things that are being paid for out of the operating budget.
Mhm.
So if it's not in the operating budget, there you go. That being said, something having been on the capital plan does not give it cooties that such that you can't fund it from the CPA later.
Okay.
Like, we had, whatever, those
Birch
four
Meadow.
barrels tennis courts, on the capital plan for, I don't know, 8 years or something now, 9 years, whatever. And it's,
Right.
if that's still not done, I think that is actually finally getting done, maybe.
I think
it is done.
what Chuck may have meant to say, and which I read something to indicate was the case, is if a project has been, funding for which has been authorized, then you can't go back to CPA and say, we'll take it from there as opposed to where it was supposed to come from.
If town meeting is authorized spending from free cash, then it would probably,
Then it
Once,
gets cooties.
once funding gets that far, you
Yes.
can't switch horses and pull it from CPA.
right.
That makes a lot
seems
more sense.
Fine.
Yeah.
I
If
don't,
it's just in a plan, I think you have
Yes.
flexibility.
exactly. If it's in a plan, plans do change, so.
So this is what Natick used for town meeting, right? For
It's
their town meeting
what they,
presentation?
I think,
I don't know exactly how they distributed this report.
I'm pretty sure that it was.
I mean, they had it before that went to their town meeting. I'm sure they tried to get it to
Okay.
town meeting.
So we're gonna present it to the select
Yeah.
board, and then if then they can edit this as they like, or how does that go?
no, it says this will be our report,
Right, we produced
Okay.
a report.
Okay,
That report will be the report we have produced.
okay,
and it will go on the website and it'll be available. It could
Okay.
be
Right.
picked up by the ballot committee down the road as,
Right, it would be obviously a product of this committee, not a product of the ballot committee. They
Right.
have to give us credit for having
Right.
it, but
right,
it's just like, this is a public document on the town website. You can read it.
It explains our recommendation.
Right.
And
Right.
the select board and town meeting and
Right.
so forth.
and it gives,
to- decide.
everything you could ever want to know about CPA in a bound book.
And I intended to check at the end whether we give credit for,
We have to
It-
put in.
we need
Natick.
to put some credits in there.
Yeah.
So that we're
Yeah.
Yeah.
not plagiarizing.
All right,
Important.
so getting back to the the part where you talk about capital intensive master plan goals. I think for now, we don't have a master plan, so we shouldn't.
But I want to look at the capital improvement plan to see if that's, a place to reference.
I mean,
that, or-
it would be, right. I mean, and you might even be able to say something about, I can probably help with the wordsmithing here, because
Yeah,
it's unmet, like, it's not just stuff that's on the capital plan. It's stuff that's on the capital plan that keeps getting punted because, like, a fire truck costs $1.4 million now. And so, like, they're just, everything is super expensive and things keep getting put off.
Mhm.
So, and that is, being able to fund those things is, in my opinion, one of the, because it's the need to get funded, we still pave the roads and buy the fire truck. But
So
the,
So once,
right, the, recreation and open space and so forth is stuff that keeps getting put off.
Yeah.
So
right,
I'm
yeah,
so
so
glad to
that,
hear about
that
the
page, I
tennis
think,
courts.
you think about that table and then think about the paragraph. in front of
Okay,
it.
so let me write down, this is page 13. Geez, I'm getting a bunch of pages. That's all right.
You're the finance guy.
I know. People are gonna care about people care about money.
Yeah.
I don't blame them.
And then, while you're making that note, so on page 15, it just talked about the recall, how could this get on? It could either be put on by town meeting as a ballot question, or it could be put on by a petition. And I
Mhm.
just don't know what the percent of folks would need to
That's the
be.
one thing I had time to look up. It's
Okay.
5%
Okay.
in the law.
Okay,
So
Right.
that's not a town by town thing.
okay, that's 5%. Okay, so
Right.
then that
It
one,
is 3% to challenge, because I looked in the, I thought 3% was something, and I searched for it in the charter, and I found it's, if you want to take any town meeting decision and put it to a referendum, you need a
Mhm.
petition of 3% of residents for that.
okay. And then, so I know what the recommendations are around exemption, so I'll revise that section. So the Natick report included submitting a warrant article and I guess maybe not for tonight, but maybe for our next meeting, we vote on whether or not we want to have the report include the warrant article as well, and then are we satisfied with the language of it? But again, I felt like
Where is
a-
this part in the report?
So it's first referenced on page 17, but then it turns out that it's actually an attachment, appendix A, starting on page 38. That basically comes up with the town meeting warrant, and this is actually for the creation of the Community Preservation Committee. So, you know, because it covers, you know, it basically says that, well, it's funny, because then you look at the committee, you look at the thing, and it's the creation of the committee, it's not really the voting of the,
Yeah.
of the
Sandy was
warrant.
gonna say something?
At least one
We're
of,
both
one of two
remembering.
things. You can take the second one. The CPC website has forms of town meeting warrant articles and town meeting motions, which revolve around the votes that we took earlier this evening. So you just fill in the blanks, and the boilerplate is
Oh,
there.
wow.
And I would suggest that our report include that much. As far as,
Yep.
as far as the sort of the implementing committee goes, I thought that we had sort of taken a back seat on that and said that let's get our feet under us and adopt the law first and then do the implementing part of it. Somebody's gonna do it at a later point, at a subsequent town meeting.
Yeah.
We had kind of split that, which I think is the normal procedure. I think Winchester and maybe Natick too got more aggressive and said, you know, let's jumpstart this thing all in one fell swoop. So let's do both at the same time.
I mean, it's funny, because I think the language that's in the appendix A is actually this, creating the CPC committee.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think what we want to do is include the warrant for voting for CPA.
Yes.
Adoption.
And then
yeah.
you could go one step further as a new appendix B, and say, and if it votes, this is potentially what a warrant could look like, which I think is what Natick was trying to do, because in their timeline, they did say that, you know, the vote happens now, and then after the vote, that at spring town meeting, then the town meeting needs to vote that, but we could
My-
just
my-
drop it all together.
My view on that is it opens up a can of worms.
Yeah.
Politically.
Well, I
Yes,
mean,
no,
it's the whole
Mike's-
thing, it's like you're
the-
counting your eggs before they hatch,
Well,
or,
and,
That
but I
too,
mean,
yeah.
it's more, I'm more to the point, Mike Betancourt from the Winchester Select Board, who came and talked to us early in our process about their experience with adopting CPA. And the one piece of advice that he had, that he felt very strongly about, was do not vote to adopt the CPA and to create the Community Preservation Committee in the same town meeting.
Right.
Because people have opinions about who should get to allocate this $1 million. And I don't blame them, because it's $1 million.
They were forced to do it apparently. Winchester, did they not?
Well, they did, I think there may have been, I think there was something where like some of the stakeholders didn't want to move forward with CPA until they knew who would be on the committee.
Correct.
Like they have a capital planning committee, Reading does not have one. And it's, the capital planning committee did not want to support CPA until they knew that they would have representation on a committee and so forth. So it was a little bit of like, people's political support was contingent on various stuff here, but I'm kind of hoping that we can, you know, I don't invite that drama.
and it could, I mean,
Not really
yeah,
part of our
I mean,
charge either technically.
Yeah, I mean,
all right, I mean, so I know what I need to do there. And then, so then at each of the sections, the pillars is what I've been calling them.
Mhm.
Natick had a quote from their master plan report. And I don't know, I mean, so I made it Reading specific, but they actually stated the report. And my inclination is probably to drop that, but then it would be like, well, do we put anything else in its place? And that, happens, particularly on the open space and outdoor recreation on page 20, and then also on page 22. the historic preservation also had a quote from something.
Yeah.
Um,
Is this something that we can
Andrew and
delegate to the
Olivia,
what's that?
Andrew and Olivia.
Well, so yes, town staff may be able to help in terms of the
Okay,
planning.
yeah.
But then also, it may be something where we could leave it up to the, like, I don't know, I mean, I remember that we have an open space plan. I remember that was a thing, but I don't remember the status of it, and I think it was kind of maybe a bit long in the tooth already.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll talk to, I'll
Right.
circle back to.
I feel like it might not be helpful to quote a plan written in 2013 or something like that. In a report that you're publishing in January of 2026.
Right.
At that point, you
Alright.
just find a different way to make your point.
Yeah, and so then for everybody, for these sections, I think which are meant to be really reading specific sections, starting on page 20, 2021 are the open space, 22, 23 is historic, affordable housing follows. So, if each of you could, did I catch the right things that you were interested in? Did I word it the right way? So if each of the subject matter experts can, weigh in and or highlight, well, you overemphasized this or didn't emphasize this enough. I do feel like I need to put dog parks in
Yeah,
after the earlier
really.
conversation.
Yeah.
And
And
so,
I was just gonna say, we have a lot of pictures of walking in the woods or skiing in the woods.
yep,
And
The
I
more
think it
Reading
would be good
specific.
to have a picture of the brand new kids playground down at Birch Meadow Park.
yep.
Or the new tennis courts down there, that kind of thing, a picture of pickleball, somebody playing pickleball, I'm not saying take away all my woods. But I think it will
no,
appeal
you're
to
good.
more people
Yeah,
if
gotta
you
appeal.
get some of those,
Carlo, do you have any pictures of
recreation
pickleball players?
Maybe not in Reading.
Yeah.
I have some handsome pictures of myself. I do have pictures of people that I've taken over the years, but I don't have their permission.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, we gotta,
that's, yeah.
well, even an empty pickleball court with no people in it would still be a pickleball court,
Right, but that's not one that's the, yeah.
yeah.
Then-
So-
We need the handsome guy.
Well, if you're, yeah, we have slightly different, this report versus, running a pickleball coaching business, for instance, have slightly different needs, so they might need different pictures.
So then going on, so there's a decision on affordable housing. Because community housing by statute is defined at 100% of area median income. Natick chose to do a more narrow interpretation of it at 80% of area median income. So that's a choice in terms of whether we recommend 80 or we stay with the statute at 100%.
Where exactly
That's
is the
page
Natick recommendation on this?
24.
Cause this is the sort of thing where I feel like the state, legislates what is eligible.
I think in our case, it should be 80.
Yeah,
We
I
have a
mean,
high AMI.
well, the other thing about this, 80, is that the threshold for getting housing that protects you against, gives you safe harbor against 40B?
Mm,
What's the threshold for how low income does low income housing have to be for 40B?
I don't know, do you know, Carlo?
Let's see. Well, I mean, I think
he
some
doesn't-
40B gets you, I think you have to, the units, some percentage have to be affordable at 80%.
Okay,
I
yeah,
think that percentage is 10% of the housing has to be affordable.
right. No,
Or
but the
20 to
percentage here
25
is the,
to 80.
where this is relevant is, there are people who support affordable housing for its own sake, and there are people who support affordable housing because they are responding to the incentives that were put in place intentionally with Mass General Law Chapter 40B that allows developers to circumvent local housing local zoning restrictions in community, in order to build more affordable housing in communities that distinctly lack it. So people who want affordable housing for the sake of affordable housing would probably be excited about things that, are, 90% of area median income or whatever. But if you're here to keep the 40Bs away, then you're interested in the 80%. And I'm assuming that was probably the rationale here for why they did it. And I'm guessing that is, we are not the Community Preservation Committee. We're not the ones deciding how to spend the money, but if I had to guess, I would guess that a hypothetical future Reading Community Preservation Committee is gonna favor projects that have the added benefit of keeping 40Bs away.
Does
And
that,
I would just say that we should probably let them decide and not decide.
Right, right. I don't know.
And so I would just leave community housing as defined by the statute, 100% of AMI, and let the CPC committee define
Yes,
it more narrowly if they choose to.
right. I mean, I suppose it could be said that, we could. So like, yeah, this is probably fine. I don't want to overthink this too much.
Yeah, I just feel like that I felt like that sentence, I mean, I wrote it just replacing Natick, but I think it should just be deleted. This says in Reading, we equate
Probably
community
fine, because
housing
we
to
don't,
affordable housing.
right, we don't, that's not our call.
It's not our call.
I know what I recommend, but I don't think it's my job to recommend it. Or our job to recommend it.
And then going to page 30, this one is talking about the adoption process. The article was sponsored by the Affordable Housing Trust, Open Space Advisory and Historic Commission, but I don't know if that's the case.
Where are we looking at here?
Right at the very end of the first column, the article is being jointly sponsored by, and I just deleted.
Oh, that
But
is
Natick actually, I put in what Natick had sponsored by.
yeah, no article is actually being sponsored yet. Strictly speaking, I believe the select board would sponsor the article if the select board votes to put it on there. If the select board voted not to put it on there and it was put on via citizen petition, it would be sponsored via citizen petition. In any case, we don't know at the time of this report who's sponsoring this.
So we're just gonna read, the committee is recommending that the Reading follow the legislative body route of following a warrant article for this.
Yes,
spring
exactly,
2020
exactly. We'll leave it there.
26
And
town
actually,
meeting.
come to think of it, I said citizen petition, but I also think that it's probably possible for other town committees to put things on the town meeting warrant, in which case it could be the Affordable Housing Trust Fund
Yeah.
or the
But we're just gonna leave
know,
it.
Conservation Commission or whatever, all these spots.
We're just omitting it, is that what you're saying, Margaret?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you caught that should
Yeah,
say
2026,
2026, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I missed that one on my
Oh,
pre
Yeah.
editing.
I don't, it's
And
rough.
then we don't have a flat, so I know what to do with the discretionary action. I know what to do with that. Okay.
Reading-
And
yes,
the
Reading does not have flat tax
question.
rate
Yeah.
anymore.
Change that flat tax rate comment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna change that whole section.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, starting on page 32, this is where they get into the Community Preservation Act committee. And I think we're just saying we're gonna drop that whole section potentially from the.
I mean, okay, so
I mean, it's factual. I mean.
yeah, the parts that are restricted by the state that are not up for debate. I'm okay with including that, and it might be good for informing people. I certainly don't want to take a position on whether or not the select board should have one representative or two, or whether whatever, I can't remember. Does finance have a representative?
No.
No,
I
okay.
thought
Do we take a position? Like, whoo,
thank goodness.
Well, it was funny, you'll see it when you get to Appendix A, they put the Affordable Housing Trust as the member of the Natick Committee, and I switched out the trust for the Housing Authority, and actually, when I looked at the statute, it's very clear it's supposed to be the Housing Authority. So, but I
Yeah.
flagged that, because I don't want, you
Yeah.
have to have confidence that I'm not doing anything nefarious.
yes, right.
But I went to the statute and I'm like, no, I don't, they didn't even have the Natick Housing Authority on CPA board, and every community I go to always has a housing authority representative. And, sure enough, it's statute, but, and again, we may just opt to do that. Okay, so,
Yeah.
I mean,
Like page 32 looks pretty, again, I haven't had time to read it in detail, but it looks like it's
Generic.
just
Yeah,
You know, it's generic.
yeah, I think where we run into problems when we get to the warrant, as that's in the appendix A,
Right.
and I think we can punt on that.
Yeah.
And I'll replace it with the actual warrant for
Yeah.
the committee. And then, all right, so those were like the things I felt like if I could come away from tonight's meeting with, then that's gonna move me on, and then obviously I'll need everybody to, do a careful read of their section. And then if folks wanna help in the way that Martha did in terms of catching the nits and gnats, I'll go through it again as well, but.
One more thing on plans, it probably doesn't profit us to cite the current Reading master plan that's like a dozen years old or whatever it is. It may be worth mentioning, and I don't remember. Carlo, do you remember exactly where we are with creating a new master plan? Like that was a thing that,
Yeah, it seems like it's lost some steam. It's up to Heather and Chris at the moment to kind of hash things out, and we haven't got an update in months. I was afraid of this. I was trying to get it going when I was chair,
Mhm.
and then everything just fell by the wayside. So I don't know. I don't have anything new to report because
Alright.
I knew the summer nothing was going to happen, and now it's December, and we haven't talked about it all fall.
all right. I mean, so any references to a future Reading master plan would have to be maybe a little bit vague and hypothetical, but so, because we don't know exactly when we'll have it. I'm sure at some point, Reading's been here for like 400 years. We'll have another master plan at some point. But
We
it might
do
not be
have-
next year.
The Eastern Gateway proposal, and we have the Haven Street proposal, so we've got some
Yes.
proposals that might include some
Right.
open space options.
And those are the ones that Andrew would certainly have close to hand, so. All right.
Thank you.
So
Thank you for doing all this work.
this is awesome. So, yeah, it's various tables to update, but yeah, that's all mechanical. So many pictures, but yeah. All right, looking back at the agenda, where did the agenda go? Good grief.
Future meetings.
Yes, so we have a meeting planned in 2 weeks because we
Didn't want to lose steam.
didn't want to lose steam. Yep. That's not what we're gonna do. And also, we knew we had some inkling that we were going to be doing what we just did, which is going over this report. And
So we're on the 15th,
on the 15th.
which is Hanukkah. Is that right?
Oh, I think it is during Hanukkah. It's not.
Yeah.
Is it?
Okay.
Okay. Right. It's the menorah lighting that day before or something, I think.
It is Sunday.
Yeah. The menorah lighting's the day before. So,
Oh, wait a minute.
isn't it?
I don't think so.
It just was in the paper today, but I don't.
It's on my calendar. 1 second. Yes, the menorah lighting on the common is at 5 PM on Sunday, the 14th. So yes, this will be during Hanukkah, but I think since it's not a one-night affair, having one meeting during the period is hopefully okay. So I do recommend the menorah lighting if anybody hasn't been to it before, but anyway.
And the dancing afterwards.
I sing every year.
You all want to see me
Reading
dance.
Community Singers is always there.
Oh, yes, yeah, right, that's right, be there. All right,
You should at least come watch the dancing.
Probably
It's
have
in the
inspired
church
children.
hall, well, where they feed the kids,
Yeah.
latkes and
yes,
Donuts
yes,
donuts.
no,
and-
that's true, I will be there because there will be, like, kids will be where the latkes and donuts are. Let's get real, I will be where the latkes and donuts are. All right, cool. So in terms of agenda for that meeting, obviously, we're gonna revise this darn report. I guess
Our
we can talk
homework is
about
to send Margaret pictures and to review our respective.
sections.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then if we could, so that then I could send out a more complete draft.
Yeah, we should not send this stuff to Margaret the day before our next meeting. It's
Well, I sent it to you too.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's if you
But I
send it-
did send
right.
it to Jax last night.
Yes, right. But that's the thing is, yeah. we
But I
can't-
needed Thanksgiving
you-
weekend to do it.
Right, well,
so.
you also, for you to incorporate edits that people send you, you will need
Right.
a non-zero amount of time.
Yeah, and so I was
So-
looking at a calendar to.
Sure.
And-
So if I could get, well, if you guys want to get it when the agenda goes out, then I would probably need to have any edits by the coming Saturday, the 6th. So that
Okay.
then I could do the work on the 7th, on Sunday.
Yes.
And then and that way then it can go out on Wednesday when the packet goes out.
Do you want us to use your Gmail? Is that the right?
Yeah.
Okay,
And,
And I think you should probably send it
to Jackie.
to Jack.
Oh, not to you?
I think, how
Okay.
do you
So
have to do
I
it?
think it's, as long as there's no back and forth, like, if people just give you edits to compile, I think, although I don't know. So the nice thing about sending things to Jackie is that it becomes,
Okay.
so as soon as you send it to each other, it is public record. But you like things that are public record to also be in Jackie's email because it's way less of a pain if
Yeah, I
someone
would
wants to
go
look it
through
up later to get
Jackie.
it from Jackie's email and to get
Yeah.
it from your Gmail.
Yeah.
So
So just send it to Jackie and Jackie will. send to me.
okay, so send to Margaret via Jackie.
Sorry.
actually, if you're sending it on Saturday night, it's not gonna,
Then I
Jackie's
won't
not
get
gonna
it
be
till Monday.
forwarding things, so please copy Jackie, but if, I think, given the time frame,
That's fine.
So
We probably
Thursday
have-
then, Thursday night?
No, you can send it Saturday night, but.
but you have to send it to Margaret
CC Jackie.
and CC Jackie,
Okay,
Okay.
so that we have a record of it. And for the love of everything, don't reply to these emails.
Now, all the photos that I thought were appropriate for the open space part, I put into my presentation that I gave. Should I just send you that presentation and you can pull photos out of it?
Yes, yeah, I'll look at, I mean, I'm assuming that there'll be good quality photos.
yeah. Maybe send her the pictures instead of the presentation.
Well, that's the question. Should I go back and dig up the pictures that I used for that presentation?
The
Might be
quality, if I
better.
get the photos, they're gonna be better quality.
Okay,
than
okay.
Getting it off of the presentation.
okay, fine. That was my question.
All right, cool, and yes, I have pretty much all the sections that are not the subject matter expert sections to look at. I'll take a look, I will take a look.
That's your stuff.
I know, I mean, it's, that's fine. All right,
Onto the minutes?
looks like it, unless I'm forgetting anything else from the agenda. Nope, all right. It's late, I'm not above literally forgetting an agenda item, but thankfully, no. So yes, our agenda next time is gonna be revise this report. All right, minutes. I didn't see anything. Does anybody have, do we have someone gonna channel Jonathan and have something small? Oh, hey, I said I would file with the bylaw committee. I haven't done that yet. Poor Jesse Arnold spent half of town meeting standing in front of the room, so I wasn't gonna bother her quite yet, but. I will seriously write that down now because I will forget again. All right,
I move that we accept the minutes as written.
for our November 3rd. Sure.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Martha, thank you, Sandy. Any further discussion on the minutes? All right, let's vote. Carlo,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Margaret,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Martha,
Yes,
Sarah,
Yes,
and Joe, yes.
7-0.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Sandy. Let's vote. Carlo,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Margaret,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Martha,
Yes.
Sarah,
yes.
and Joe, yes. Thank you all for another productive meeting. Awesome.
Good night all.
We're adjourned.